Welcome back. In today's video, I'm presenting a grammar point that will help you be a better writer in English. It's parallel forms. In this short video, I'll tell you what parallel forms are and why they're important, and then we'll do a practice and I'll show you the answers. This video will help you understand and correct a sentence like this that has a mistake. The symptoms of COVID-19 are a cough, fever, and tired. So we'll look at that sentence in a moment, but first let me tell you what parallel forms are. Well, the word parallel refers to two lines that are like this. These are lines that are the same, so they never meet or intersect. We often use the word parallel to talk about things that are the same, but in different places. So we use this word to describe the forms that we use in a sentence. It'll be clear when we look at an example in a moment. But when we don't pay attention to parallel forms, sometimes our sentences can be awkward or strange and hard to understand. And this is especially important when you write an essay or a cover letter for a job. Remember my example above about COVID-19? The sentence was, symptoms of COVID-19 are a cough, fever, and tired. So a native speaker will never say this sentence because a native speaker has control of forms of words. The word cough is a noun, fever is a noun, but tired is an adjective. So those three words do not have parallel forms. If we have two nouns, cough, fever, we also need to have a noun for the third one. So how can we fix this sentence? We can change tired to a noun form, tiredness. Ness is a noun suffix that we can use to make nouns, but the word tiredness is not very common, so that's really not the best answer. We could also change tired to the gerund, feeling tired. And that's not wrong. It works because feeling tired is a noun phrase, but it's not the best solution because the other ones, cough and fever, are nouns, but they don't have gerunds. So in this case, we would have like noun, noun, and then a noun phrase with a gerund. Again, it's not wrong, but it's not the best solution. The best answer here would be to use the noun form of tired, which is a word that you might not know, fatigue. So let's say the sentence again. Symptoms of COVID-19 are a cough, fever, and fatigue. Fatigue is a common noun that we use, especially in this situation, and it means to feel tired, but it's a noun. So now we have noun, noun, and noun. So let's see some examples of sentences with correct parallel forms. And all of these sentences are about the same topic, which is language learning. You know that you are truly fluent in a language when you can express yourself easily and when you begin to dream in it. You can learn a second language at a college, at home, or in the country where it is spoken. Writing an essay in English is both difficult and interesting. People can learn vocabulary easily by not only listening to music, but also reading for at least 10 minutes a day. You can improve your pronunciation by listening to native speakers, imitating their speech, and learning the sounds of the target language. Now, let's take a look at some common mistakes in parallel forms. There are 3 good ways to improve your pronunciation: to listen to native speakers, imitating their speech, and learn the sounds of the target language. People can learn vocabulary easily by not only listening to music, but also read for at least 10 minutes a day. You can learn a second language at home, at college, or the country where it is spoken. You know that you are truly fluent in a language when you can express yourself easily and beginning to dream in it. So let's practice. Pause the video, rewrite the sentences with correct parallel forms, and when you're ready, press play again and check your answers with me. There are 3 ways to improve your pronunciation: listening to native speakers, imitating their speech, and learning the sounds of English. So here we want to have 3 parallel forms. And in the example, we had a verb with to, and then we had a gerund imitating, and then we had the verb learn. And so we had 3 different forms, and that sentence doesn't work. So we need to use 3 parallel forms here. So in my example correction, I'm using gerund, gerund, and gerund. Let's look at the next one. People can learn vocabulary easily by not only listening to music, but also read for at least 10 minutes a day. So here we have 2 ways to improve vocabulary, and those are not parallel forms, because in the first one, I use a gerund, and the second one, I use a verb, read. So we need to correct that. The best way would be to use a gerund in both of them. People can learn vocabulary easily by not only listening to music, but also reading for at least 10 minutes a day. Let's look at the next one. You can learn English at home, at college, or in the country where it is spoken. So the correction here, we're going to use prepositional phrase, prepositional phrase, prepositional phrase. In the first one, we have the preposition at, second one at, and in the third one in. We can't use at for the third one because we don't use at with countries. So for the third one, we need to use the preposition in. You know that you are truly fluent in a language when you can express yourself easily and beginning to dream in it. So here we have 2 different forms, so the sentence doesn't work. If we use when before the first one, we need to use the same structure in the second one. And remember that with when, that's going to be a clause, right? When you can express yourself easily. So we have a subject, you, and verb can express. So in the second one, we want to do the same thing. So we can say, you know that you are truly fluent in a language when you can express yourself easily and when you begin to dream in it. Another thing that we could do here is that we could use when you before the first one, and then the parallel forms could be 2 verbs. You know that you are truly fluent in a language when you can express yourself easily and begin to dream in it. That works because the when you is for both of them, when you do 2 things. My final tip for you is to be especially careful about parallel forms when you write a thesis statement for an essay or a main idea sentence in a cover letter for a job, because often in those sentences we are listing 2 or 3 things that we're going to talk about in the rest of the essay or letter. We can use this in a cover letter when you apply for a job. In this case, you would have a main idea sentence that would tell maybe 2 or 3 reasons why you would be a good person for that job or why they should hire you. You might repeat this sentence at the end of the cover letter to summarize or sum up the reasons that they should hire you. So let's look at an example. In this case, you're applying for a job to be a language teacher. I would be a good fit for the teaching position because of my experience, education, and because I love learning languages. So here we have 3 reasons, but we don't have parallel forms because we have a noun, experience, noun, education, and then a clause, because I love learning languages. So how can we change this to be correct? Well, if we have 2 nouns, then let's make the third one a noun too. Instead of saying, because I love learning languages, we could use the noun, my love of learning languages. So let's try it again. I would be a good fit for the teaching position because of my experience, education, and love of learning languages. That's it for today, but let's practice one more time. In the comments below, let me know your answer to this question. What are the 3 best ways to learn English at home? And if you found this video helpful, please give it a like and subscribe. Every like, subscribe, and share really helps me to grow my channel so I can reach more English learners like you. Thank you so much and take care.